Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance Boxing. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson, joined as always, my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michael, and directly below us. It felt so good the last time. We had to do it one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden, Håkan Ringside is joining us to break down the fights that happened this past weekend and this extraordinary card that we're about to take part in this Saturday from Saudi Arabia. Probably one of the best cards of the year, regardless of where it is and regardless of what your opinions are. As a boxing card, this card looks sick. We're going to break it all down. And then for everyone, for dessert, we're going to go right into this whole Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua situation and kind of give it a perspective from a different side. How you doing, Hakan?
I'm all good, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining.
Oh,
Oh, thank you for being available to join us. And Chance Michaels wearing the David Benavidez t-shirt. I've brought out the David Benavidez hat. Are we homers for him?
For this fight, absolutely. I would say so. We've been to his gym. He's let us interviewed him, watched him train. He's autographed for us. So we're Team Benavidez all the way.
I'll even take it a step further. When he fought Andrade, I was there for that fight in Vegas. The family took such good care of me. They brought me to the penthouses for the after fight parties. So I sat there with Junior for like 30 minutes. And this is a guy who just came off a loss. But he gave me 30 minutes of his time. He sat close and we sat on a couch together. So my fandom with this family is not just because of what they are and how good they are in the ring. It's just the respect that they gave us as individuals.
Yeah.
And you can't put a price on that.
I agree with the fighters that I have met on shows and before shows. A lot of fighters I have got a very close connection with.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And that sells, right? Like it's not necessarily what you do in the ring and all that. Obviously, that's a given. But when they treat you like an equal and they make you feel like you're a part of something more than what you're there for, that's an amazing feeling, man. You can't take that away.
Yes, I agree.
It doesn't change, right? From the get-go, just having the access to them, allowing to be so close to them in proximity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Hawken, when you go to Vegas, you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? When you go to one of these press conferences, the amount of people that are in there is insane. Now, that's not including the people who couldn't get in that are standing outside on the casino floor waiting for these guys to come out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I hope to make a Vegas show next year. So
I'm telling you, it's just something different. Even if you're not there for a fight, if you at the end of the fights, you start seeing everybody coming out and they all come out through the casinos, right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's how we met Rolly, just walking through the casino. This is how we met Teo, just walking through the casino. You know what I mean? It's just a different experience, Hawkeye. You got to come down and check it out.
The only thing, Hawkeye, I'll tell you, is you'll have to change your name from Hawkeye Ringside Live to Hawkeye Nose Bleachers Live, because those fight tickets are very expensive at ringside. The upper decks
I know that.
Pretty reasonable.
If I go into to a big show in Vegas, there are some a little bit smaller shows. There you could get ringside.
Yes, definitely. At the big ones.
Matchroom having a show in Vegas early next year at the Arc.
It's called the fight capital of the world. Yeah, it's called the fight capital of the world for a reason. There is nothing like a fight in Vegas.
I would have to say,
like mini cities. It's amazing.
I would have to assume. I don't know this factually, but I'm going to assume that the first 3 rows around the whole ring are already comped. I don't think those are even for sale. To be fair,
they're for celebrities. Yeah.
They're the closest you'll get to ringside if you were to buy a ticket, maybe row 4 or 5.
Yes, I usually check ticket sales a lot,
right?
And I even shows I'm not attending. So I check ticket sales for Vegas shows. I see the prices, and so I know that I had to pay a lot. But if I go to Vegas, I would go try to get a lower tire if if I could get it for 1K.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, listen, we had a huge fight over this past weekend. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. A lot of hype going into this fight. A very different build up to this fight. A bit more respect, not as fiery, not as angry, and I think we saw that in the fight itself. Chris Eubank did not show up. It was a one-sided fight. I dare call it a masterclass for Conor Benn. Your guys' opinion?
Take it away, Hawkeye. I'll let you have it first.
I was very disappointed of Chris Eubank Jr. He didn't show up at all for the fight. I don't understand what he did, so it was a big disappointment. And Conor Benn did everything very well, but for me, when I look back at this fight, it's more of the disappointment of Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance than Conor Benn's good performance, sadly.
So Ben entered the ring as a plus 200 underdog. So he's coming in as the underdog. The Vegas betting lines and by the media and by 90% of us guys in our boxing league, except a couple guys had Ben. The reason why I thought Ben was going to win, he's fighting for family legacy. They need to get that one win, or the Eubanks will have all the wins over him. They had that one draw. Ben had everything to lose here. I think Eubank being weight trained, the 10-pound rehydration clause killed him. I think he thought he would have his way with Ben like he did last time, and Ben just looked so fast. Eubank looked like he had cement legs out there. I don't know if he had cement in his shoes, but Ben was hitting him with all the jabs. He started coming out firing. It was like a cat and mouse game for the first rounds 1 to 3. And Ben set the tone, and he never looked back. He absolutely dominated that fight. Poor performance from Eubank, but a great performance by Ben, because he showed up in shape, fast, hungry, fighting for his dad's name, fighting for his name. And now, guess what? We get what we all love in boxing. We're getting the trilogy, part 3. So hats off to Ben. It was a great performance. I mean, can't say enough.
I don't think we will see a trilogy at all.
Why?
I've even heard from Eddie Hearn. They are now looking for world title fights for Conor.
Yeah. So if I may, very
they
quickly,
are not looking for a trilogy at all.
Right. So if I may interject here, both of you guys make valid points. Here's my take on it, okay? If this happened a year later in the new year, maybe Eubank would have been in a better place. I think you're right. He was weight trained.
Mm-hmm.
He never recovered from the first fight yet. I still believe in my heart of hearts he still hasn't regained his true self from that first fight because of all the weight drain and everything. All the stuff that we heard. The man, even though he won the last fight, was passed out at the hospital. You know, he was worse for wear in victory, to be fair. You come into this fight not even 5-6 months after, and you're putting your body through that again. I just think the man was depleted. He had nothing left to offer. Where Conor Benn came in the exact same way he did in the first fight, in my opinion, but the only difference was, and I made this point myself, he's not fighting with emotion this time. He didn't fight with emotion. He fought like a fighter, right? And as far as the trilogy goes, I'd have to agree with Hawkeye. I don't think either one wants it now. And I don't think it's wise for Eubank to even consider this again. It just wouldn't look good for him.
I'll tell you why. Both men want a trilogy, because both of these guys want to settle the score. They're not going to leave it 1-1. Not with the bad blood, with the dads, not with the bad bloods. Maybe Ben's next fight might be a championship fight. Eventually, before these guys retire, we will see part 3, because the promoters will throw so much money at these guys, they won't be able to say no. Ben will take some pot shots at Eubank in the media. Eubank will take some pot shots at Ben. Eventually, maybe not next fight, they will settle the score.
Well, you know,
that's what I think. We'll see.
I think that we will just see 1 or 2 fights with Chris Eubank Jr. before he retires.
If not now, he might just retire now.
No, he won't come. He won't go like that. He's got too much pride. He's only 36.
We'll see. I mean, if he's going to continue fighting, then he should stay at his weight class. It's just no more. He can't do this anymore. He can't. right? It's hurting him, and we saw that in this fight. Nothing against his skill set. I don't think any guy's skill set changed in 6 months.
Well, Hawkeye,
right?
do you remember in League One when Neutral went around, he asked everybody why you're picking Ben, why you're picking Eubank. And I said, in this played out, I said, I'm picking Ben because he's going to be less emotional. He's going to be patient. He's going to use his jab more. What did he do? He outlanded him 2-1 and everything. And that's the game plan that Ben told everybody he's going to do. He went out and did it. Eubank had no answer for it. So,
and he kept moving. He was a moving target. Eubank couldn't get anything settled throughout the whole fight. He was just trying to find a way to settle down, and he couldn't settle down. From round 1 to 12, the man couldn't settle him down. And the fact that he knocked him down twice in the 12th round, that shows that he was breaking him, man. He was pretty much finishing him off. The first fight was probably better, but this one was more convincing, in my opinion.
Well, the first fight was more close. This was an absolute domination by Ben, So it was good. I'm glad Ben won. Like I said, I'm not from the UK, so it didn't really matter to me who won. I just went for the guy that I picked for my boxing league too. I thought was going to win, and I'm glad Ben won. He looked good, looked fast,
fair enough.
Strong.
All right. So as we move away from that, let's fly to Saudi Arabia, guys. This is a free flight on the Samp&Chance podcast. You don't have to buy tickets, and we're straight in the scene. So, guys, as you can see, Mr. Michaels is wearing his Team Benavidez shirt. I'm wearing my Benavidez hat, which I don't normally wear. I usually just keep it on to stand behind me. But it's a special occasion. One of our favorite boxers, good friend of our show, David Benavidez, is fighting Anthony Yarde this weekend in the main event, I believe, at the ring show here this weekend. Now, when we look at this card, guys, it's phenomenal. It's stacked top to bottom. The first 3 fights on that card, or the last 3 fights on that card, Bam fight, the Devin Haney and Norman fight, Anthony Yarde and Benavidez, all 3 could be headliners for their own shows. That's what makes this thing really special here. So let's get into it, man. What should we talk about first? Chance?
I'm going to break down the keys to victory for Benavidez and Anthony Yarde, and I'll let Hawk pass the hot mic over to our Swedish buddy over here. Keys to victory for Benavidez, as I see it. He needs to maintain his forward pressure, target the body to zap Yarde's legs, and use his footwork to cut off the ring. He needs to avoid reckless exchanges early where Yarde's power could land flush. Keys to victory for Yarde. Blitz early with power shots to test Benavidez's chin. Is his chin still ringing from the David Morrell fight? We don't know. We'll find out. Then survive to counter in the mid-rounds. Durability is key. He's only been stopped by heavy hitters like Arthur Beterbiev to stop Yarde. So Yarde does have a good chance in this fight. I do see Benavidez stopping him round 8, round 9 personally. But Yarde has a chance. Beterbiev actually said the only key to victory for Yarde is, like I wrote here, blitz Benavidez early. Because after the late rounds, Benavidez gas tank, he turns it into wars of attrition. You don't want to go deep in the waters of Benavidez. That's when he gets very dangerous. So Yarde's only chance in the first 3 to 4 rounds to get Benavidez out, which I don't see as likely. Hawkeye, how do you see it?
I see that for me, Anthony Yarde is a little bit on the downhill after 2-3 years ago. So 2-3 years ago, he would have had a much better chance. And Anthony Yarde's contract situation with Frank Warren, that was about a year that, and he didn't had any fight for a long time. I think that has one. I mean that. His break there when he didn't fought Joshua Buatsi, that was talked so much about in the summer of last year, I think it was. And after that, when Anthony Yarde has fought in the last few fights, I haven't been that impressed that I was before.
Yes.
So I think David Benavidez will take this fight, not dominate every round, but he will pick round by round. And I agree with you. I think that David Benavidez will stop Anthony Yarde in the later rounds, 8 to 10.
Well said. Well said.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
I agree with everything both of you guys are saying, in terms of the way Benavidez fights. The one thing that we are privy to, we have felt the wind when David throws. We were that close to the ring to watch him train, and we've heard those shots. We've heard that power. I think this is a no-brainer. I got Benavidez in round 9, and Yarde's best chance is the first 3 to 4 rounds. If he can get anything done, that's his window. That was the same for Andrade. That was the same for Plant. You know what I mean? They couldn't get it done. The longer this goes, it's going to be harder. Now, that being said, here's something I haven't heard many people talk about. David Benavidez is fighting for the first time off of American soil. He's fighting in Saudi Arabia for the first time. Okay. David's always fought at 9, 10 o'clock in the evening because most of his fights are in Vegas or on the West Coast. He's not much of an East Coast fighter, right? It's going to be interesting to see how he acclimates himself to a card that's starting at 11 p.m., which means he'll be fighting at about 4 or 5 in the morning. That's what I want to see, how that adjustment works. That's what I'm curious about. Will that affect him? Will that provide, because Yarde's fought in Saudi before. He knows the process.
No, I get what you're saying. It's a great question to bring it up. I say no. The reason why I say no is because he's a world-class athlete. He'll be there a week or two prior, whatever the case may be. He'll adjust the sleeping pattern. He'll take it all in, and a warrior like Benavidez won't face it.
No. I get that completely, but I'm just always like, there's always that element of like, okay, you can prep as much as you want. You can get there a month ahead. You can change your sleeping pattern a month ahead where you're up all night and you're sleeping all day. I get that. Train at night. But when you're actually in it, when you're in that actual moment, when it all comes to fruition, when everything's happening around you, I'm curious to see how David's mind will handle that. And will that play a role? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Right? So that's what I'm saying, because the one advantage Yarde has is he has fought on Saudi cards. He's been there. He knows what to expect. How's David going to handle the heat?
No problem. He's from Arizona.
I get that, but it's a different heat. You know what I mean? There's just so many elements.
I don't think it'll make a difference.
I know.
It's a good question,
it also depends for Anthony Yarde from the UK, the time difference is not as much as it is for David Benavidez.
Well, Yarde has spent like, not just as a fighter, but he spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia for other cards and other matches. He's always been there. So I would have to say the advantage of location and acclimatization goes to Yarde in this situation overall.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I mean, if there's one disadvantage that David has, is everything we just said, or I've said.
That's a fair question. I'm glad you brought it up. I don't think it'll make a difference, but
maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. But it's a talking point that I don't think people are touching on, because at the end of the day, the human body is still the human body. Right? You can be trained, you can be specific, you can be as prepared as you can be. But once you're in that moment, everything changes sometimes. So that's what I'm curious to see. I'm not saying it's going to play a role. I don't think it will be a factor, but it's just something to think about.
Yep, fair enough. Yep.
Fair enough. All right. That's just one fight on this card, guys. And we still haven't talked about the other ones here. So let's move on to the next one. One that I'm really, really actually interested in. Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. I love it. Young blood going up against young blood. And man, I'm falling in love with Brian Norman Jr. I really am. I really, as a fighter, as a person, just listening to him talk into the buildup of this fight, you can't deny the man. The man knows what he's talking about, where everything that Haney has been saying, it's just being kind of in a roundabout circles. He's not really coming clean with anything. He can't really answer what Norman is saying.
Totally agree. Okay, well, here's my fight analysis and keys to victory. I'll keep it short. There's a bigger write-up on X. We want to get really down the nitty-gritty. This matchup screams stylistic contrast. We got Norman's aggressive stalking versus Haney's elusiveness. Norman plans, as he says, to put Haney in the dirt with early pressure, closing distance to trap him on the ropes and target the body to zap his legs. His path to victory will be cut off the ring, force clinches on his terms, and land hooks and combinations, exploiting any lingering gun shyness Haney has from the Garcia trauma. So we got an aggressive guy going against Haney. He's very elusive. Haney's a very good boxer. Haney's not going to hurt you. So Norman's not going to be worried about Haney's power. The only thing I'm worried about for Norman is he's going to be too aggressive, and Haney will pick him apart. So Norman needs to be calculated too. Be aggressive, but not too aggressive, because Haney's been in there with lots of great fighters from Lomo and Garcia. So it's going to be a really good fight. I still haven't made my prediction up, but I'm excited for it. Like I said, this is a gunslinger going up against a guy who's very calculated, and Haney's a very smart boxer. So it's not going to be an easy task for either one of these guys. Hakan, how do you see it?
I think we will see Brian Norman will go forward right from the beginning and try to take Haney out. But Haney's defense is so good. I think that Haney could handle Brian Norman Jr. and take the win on a unanimous decision. I think so. I can share my prediction there. I think Haney can handle Brian Norman Jr. and will not be stopped.
Yeah, and that's always the thing with Devin Haney. He doesn't have the power. We know that. Okay.
Yeah.
We know he lacks power. The man is based on defense and really confusing and frustrating his opponent.
Yes.
He's gonna have to be at his best here, in my opinion, because when I look at the fight that he had with Jose Ramirez, he didn't look great. You would think after coming off of that Garcia fight, he would have something to prove. He looked pretty pedestrian, right?
Yeah, but he didn't need to look great. He won the fight by a wide margin without being any good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But now you got a guy who's going to be coming forward. You got a guy who legitimately has power. What's the psychology in Devin Haney's head, in my opinion, now? Because now you're going up against a guy that's closer to Ryan Garcia in terms of how he's going to approach you than Ramirez did, right? Ramirez was more of an outside kind of a fight. He could fight the fight he wanted. We know that Devin Haney can handle pressure when someone's coming in, right? Let's look at the Lomo fight. He couldn't handle Lomo, but he did enough in the judge's eyes to get that victory. To this day, I still say Lomo won that fight.
Oh, Lomo won the fight for sure.
Okay. We look at Devin Haney outside of Lomo and maybe one of the Cambosis fights outside of the Ryan Garcia, which was a real challenge. What's he done?
He beat Regis Progress in 2023.
All on the downward spiral. All those guys were on the downward spiral, right?
The thing I like about this fight is Norman is 28-0 with 18 KOs. Devin Haney is 32-0 because we take away that win from Garcia because he's juiced to the gills with 15 KOs. Haney's got the elite jab, the ring IQ, the footwork, and he's never lost a professional fight. Neither is Brian Norman with explosive power, forward pressure, body punching, and Brian Norman has a 64% KO rate. So yeah, Haney's going to be worried about that power. It's going to be a fun fight, man. It's really hard to call.
No, it's a tough one because you can't take it away from Haney. He could just basically control the whole ring. He could do whatever he wants. He still has that skill. We can't take that away from him, right?
Yeah.
But we know what he's like against pressure fighters. And I like Norman in this fight. And I haven't made my pick yet, but I'm keep leaning towards Norman here, right? Like hopefully by the end of this evening, I'll have a pick. But I have a feeling that Norman could win this fight, and people shouldn't be surprised if he does. Because he doesn't have any pressure on him. All the pressure is on Haney. Haney's the bigger name. Haney's got the pedigree. Haney's got the background. Haney talks a lot of shit continuously. Norman is just talking in facts. He's being respectful. He has nothing. He has everything to gain and really maybe a little bit to lose, but not that much.
Okay. Are you leaning with Haney?
Yes. I will say that the pressure is on Brian Norman Jr. He's the champion, so he has the pressure to win to keep his belt. So
I think it's a different kind of pressure. I agree with you. He does have a pressure as being champion, but I think if you look at the optics of the overall fight and everything around it, I think there's more pressure on Haney in terms of coming out of his stinker, not getting any respect out of your last fight, being called, a whiny little baby bitch, for the Garcia stuff. Okay, all of that. You don't see Triple G complaining about Canelo.
Not that extent, yeah.
But you know what I mean? But he didn't want his record to be expunged. He wasn't clamoring and calling for lawsuits and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, I know that's a little extreme.
So that's what I mean. This is why there's more pressure on Haney, because he's done all these stupid, very baby-like tactics. That's just my take.
Hakan, what fight are you looking forward to the most this weekend? Of all the good fights you got, what fights got you the most excited over there in Sweden?
On this card?
Yes.
I'm on a show in Sweden, so I can't watch this show live.
Okay.
Maybe I can watch if I'm not at the bar after the show in Sweden. I could watch the last two fights on the card.
You don't have the zone
later in Riyadh and a bit later even in Sweden too. So maybe I could watch the last two fights on the card.
But just looking at it on paper, what fight you're most excited to check out? You can pick one.
And it is Brian Norman Jr. Devin Haney fight, I would say, because they are so different type of fighters, and I'm very interested to see if Brian Norman come forward style and Devin Haney's defense could be the so that fight is the fight I'm looking forward most to. But the fighter I like most on this card is by far Jesse Bam Rodriguez, one of my favorite fighters.
And we haven't talked about that fight, so beautiful segue, Hakan. Chance, do you have a breakdown for this one?
Well, Hakan, I want you to give me your take on the Bam fight. I'll let you go first, and then I'll give you mine. How do you see this fight playing out?
I haven't watched Puma a lot, and I have watched Bam Rodriguez a lot. Mm-hmm. So I think that Puma he will do a lot to get this fight even, and that I don't think Bam will win on an early KO in this fight. I think it will go to the last few rounds. He could get the stoppage in round 9-10, but it could also go to the decision. I think
you're right.
This fight could be closer than a lot of people think.
The thing I like about this fight is we got Rodriguez Bam. He's got the current WBC and WBO flyweight champion. He's hoping to take the WBA strap from Martinez in this fight. So we got a lot of belts in the line here. And so I think Bam's going to be extra hungry because of that. He wants those 3 belts. And it's going to be a tough challenger to throw it on Martinez. But I think Bam's going to get him out of there round 7, round 8.
Okay.
We'll see. This is a fun fight.
Yeah, I think it could go longer, around 10, 11.
Yep.
I think when I look at the Bam fight, I think everything you guys said is on point and makes sense. This is, another step for Bam. Bam hasn't shown me anything or given me any reason to doubt him. Just the way he performs and just the way he comes out there, it's a formula. And it's working beautifully. I think the beauty of this fight, and again, it involves 2 other names here that are kind of intertwined with one Bam Rodriguez, and that's Nakatani and Inoue. And for whatever reason, we got to get Nakatani and Inoue done first. And I have a feeling at some point that next mega fight after that one would be against the Bam. Would you guys like to see that?
Yeah. One more thing I need to bring up while you're breaking this down. This is 2 undefeated fighters here. Bam is 21-0, 14 KOs. Martinez is 17-0 with 9 draws. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That's his record. So
so I think Bam starches him quick, man. I'm not gonna make my pick here, but well, you know what? I'll say Bam wins. I think he wins early rounds. I think he finishes this in 5-6 at least, minimal. I think he's just gonna overpower him. He's just gonna destroy the guy. And if you look at this card, most of these cards we can kind of already know who's gonna win. It's that Norman and Haney fight that's in the air.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Martinez he's got good footwork. He's very durable. He loves the big moments. This is sort of like a Haney Norman fight in a way. Kind of, you could say Norman is Bam, and then this guy is Haney. They're not quite as skilled as those guys, but similar idea. Yeah. You got the aggressive fighter coming forward with the guy with the elusive footwork. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, guys, those are the top 3 fights that are happening, but the rest of the card is stunning as well. Abdullah Mason's going to be on this card as well, so you want to make sure you check him out as well. Wow, there's just a lot of talent. What else do we have on here? Let me just bring it up really quick. So we got Rodriguez. We got Sam Yokes against Abdullah Mason, and just this card's good, man. Overall, it's a pretty good card.
Yep.
You can't go wrong.
It's the 5 last fights. I'm very interested in. Vito Minecki Jr. too.
Yeah,
but I think he will win pretty easy. But he's a very good fighter too. So it's not just the 4 title fights. It's that fight is pretty good too.
So.
Sorry, I misspoke. I got to correct something. Martinez didn't have 9 draws. Sorry, won 9 by decision, 17-0, 9 by decision. I meant to say not draw. Misspoke. I'm going to correct that.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you to take off your shirt, but I took off the Benavidez hat because now we are into the fun part of the show. We were hoping we would have some of our brothers in arms to join us, but we got our number 1 brother in arms here with us, Mr. Conor Ringside, live. I changed the hat because now it's time to have a little fun. We sit on the other side of the world, Hakan. Literally on the other side of the world, on the other coast. When we say we're a hand's reach away from the Pacific Ocean, we're legitimately a hand's reach away from the Pacific Ocean. So, from a North American standpoint, we've been listening to the UK brothers, the UK media, and everyone else in between scream and cry and whine and clamoring and going nut fuck over the Jake Paul and AJ fight coming up here in December. Hakan, your take on this fight coming up. What do you see and how do you perceive it?
I see it in 2 different ways here. I see that for MVP, this could be another step to challenge the big promoters in the US with this fight. With the revenue they get from this fight, they could get to sign even male fighters, good male fighters, to get a even better stable. So if I look to about the event, what it could bring for MVP in the future, I really understand why they have tried so hard to get this fight. They tried it in early March first time, and then in the summer they talked about this fight from MVP's side. So they wanted this fight so much, and so that's that part. And the fight in itself, I can agree with some comments from the UK too, but so I haven't. I have been working the last 24 hours too, so I haven't checked everything that have come out from the UK. But I think that from my side, I think there are from some people that have been too much criticized of the fight, and too much criticized on Anthony Joshua too, why he's taking this fight. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I can see the dangers with this fight. For that Jake Paul ranked 50, 60, 70 in the cruiserweight division, and Anthony Joshua's KO ratio, that could be dangerous too. I agree with some comments about that. But also, Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, is past his prime. Yeah. His prime was up to 2019, before he fought Andy Ruiz Jr. the first time. Mm-hmm. After that fight, I haven't been that impressed with AJ. When a lot of people thought that he won so convincingly. Robert Helenius, Otto Wallin from Sweden, he had a few KO in a row there. A lot of people thought that AJ was back like he was before until 2019. But right. then he fought Daniel Dubois, and Daniel Dubois stopped him. It wasn't many people. I know that Mr. Neutral backed Dubois to knock out Anthony Joshua at Wembley, but not so many people did that. AJ was a huge favorite going into that fight. So that's my take. Also, that I believe that Anthony Joshua is past his prime, but he's for me top 6, top 7 in the heavyweight division right now.
Well said, buddy. I'm glad you brought up a couple of key points that I haven't heard anybody talk about in our media, North American media, we'll say. I don't really pay attention to the UK media that much, but you're right. This is big for MVP. People don't realize how smart Jake is. They want to hate on the guy, call him a Disney star, call him a YouTuber. So what? Who cares what you did in your past? You're a pro fighter now. There's lots of guys that have been janitors become fighters. Who cares what you did? That's irrelevant. That's just guys hating on him. But you're right. This is big for MVP. The revenue they get, they can sign more better fighters. MVP is a great promoter. Jake is one of the top promoters in boxing now. He's had the most watched fight of all time when he fought Mike Tyson. No other boxing fight ever in history has had more eyeballs on that fight than Paul and Mike Tyson. This fight here will be as close, or it might break it, because, like you said, Joshua, he's past his prime, but he's 20 years younger than Tyson, right? He's still dangerous, but I think what Jake is seeing here, like you kind of said, he's past his prime. He's been knocked down a couple times. His chin is suspect. Doesn't mean I'm saying Jake is going to win. These are the reasons why Jake is taking this fight. Everybody's hating on him. Instead of people should be saying, you know what? Jake's got balls of steel. He's stepping in the ring with a guy way bigger than him, way more accomplished fighter, and he's putting his brain on the line. He might get knocked in the first row. We don't know. Jake's got balls of steel. People saying he doesn't deserve the fight. Yeah, he probably doesn't deserve the fight, but that doesn't matter, because in boxing, what matters is how many people are going to watch your fights and how much money you make. If nobody's in the crowd and nobody's watching the fight's irrelevant. So I give Jake credit for taking the fight. People are bashing on Joshua for taking it. If you're offered $75 million, you're taking the fight. I don't care any one of these media guys in UK or America who's hating on AJ. You put $75 million in front of them, they'll step in the cage with Brock Lesnar for that kind of money, right? You can't fault Anthony Joshua. He's past his prime. He only has a couple fights left. He's cashing out. Good for him. You're taking it away, buddy.
My turn?
Your turn.
You guys ready? You got your cup of coffee?
Yep, let's hear it.
Let's do it. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. when I look at this fight, guys, I understand the concept of boxing being a business. I understand the concept of being a prize fighter. And as boxing analysts and as a boxing enthusiast, we also have to keep in mind that these guys that we enjoy watching only have a limited lifespan in this business.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like a regular job where you can work the same job for 30 years, 40 years and retire there. You only have a little window in this game. Okay. I think the boxing community is scared of the potential of Jake Paul knocking him out. And I get that completely. That's the fear because Jake Paul is a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's forget the YouTube stuff. Let's forget all that. The man is a legitimate boxer. I have to give him credit where credit is due. Okay.
Yeah.
But the reality is, here's AJ. Now, people who are listening to this on the audio can't see, but I got one hand above my head. And I got the other one standing by my nose where Jake Paul is. There's still levels here, okay? Yeah. There is no way that Jake Paul should be able to get inside close enough to hit Joshua. Even if Joshua is on his downside, he's still here above him.
Yeah.
Okay? So from that perspective, I think that's what most people are scared of. But what I don't understand is how come no one was crying this kind of Bloody Murray when Tyson Fury fought Ngannou? And he almost lost to Ngannou. Right? He almost lost. Ngannou took him down.
I think it's because Ngannou is a former UFC champion, so they respect his pedigree more.
I get that you respect his pedigree, but if I have to be honest here, and you can quote me on this, man, I will never say these things. Jake Paul's a better boxer than Francis Ngannou is. I don't care what anybody says. He's got the power, yeah, but still, Jake Paul would probably beat Ngannou in my opinion. I'd give him that fight, definitely. If he didn't get caught with the shot. Okay. But what Joshua did to Ngannou is what everyone expects to happen here. And it should happen here. It should happen even quicker. He's got 8 rounds. If he doesn't decide to play with this food, Joshua finishes him in the first to second round. And that's how it should play out. It goes any longer than boxing purists, boxing fans, people who actually love the sport. Not the money, nothing in that. It just gives the sport a bad name because your top guy couldn't beat an average fighter. And I think that's where the fear is. Okay. In terms of these kind of fights happening, we've watched this. And I talked about this before we went on the air. Let's remember Muhammad Ali fought Antonio Inoki, a Japanese wrestler, professional wrestler. Okay. They grappled. They rolled around on the ground. Go back and watch it. It was a spectacle. George Foreman, after he fought Muhammad Ali, his very first fight back in the ring was in Ontario, Toronto, Ontario, where he fought 5 guys in one night in an exhibition. So this has been going on for decades, if not centuries. It's a spectacle. This is where that kind of stuff happens, and I get it. Am I a fan of a lot of it? Probably not. I don't agree with a lot of it, but I get it because it's the business. So crying over something just makes no sense here, man. And most of the people who are crying and upset about it, it doesn't affect them in any way. Just shut up and watch a good fight.
I agree.
Hope for the best. And I think the one thing is, the one reason why I think everyone's going to be tuning into this more than the Tyson fight is because everybody wants to see Jake get starched and they feel that this is the one guy who's going to starch him finally and put an end to all this.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. So Jake Paul's very smart. He's doing what Floyd Mayweather used to do. Everybody tuned in to watch Floyd. Floyd was not an exciting fighter to watch, but you tuned in to watch Floyd because you wanted to see him get knocked out. He beat up his girlfriend. He went to jail. We all know Floyd's a bad dude. So you tuned in to watch him lose, but he never did. But you still tuned in to watch. You still went to the bar. You still ordered the pay-per-view to watch Floyd lose. Same thing here. So Jake did the Santa Claus thing. I thought it was hilarious. On the treadmill, Santa Claus doing this funny entertainment. The guys in the UK hate that stuff. We're from North America. We love the entertainment. I think it's hilarious because it's got us talking about boxing. We all sit here and bitch and complain. Boxing is boring. Boxing is dying. Here comes His Excellency. He breathes new life into boxing. He gives us the fights we wanted to see. We never would have saw Fury and Usyk without Turkey. We never would have saw Benavidez and Bivol and on and on and on. So I'm glad Turkey's here. He bringing the entertainment and the good fights back. What's Jake Paul doing? He's making boxing fun. He's making us laugh. His tweets are going viral. We're arguing. Everybody's throats. But the one thing we're doing that we bitched about we weren't doing is we're talking about boxing again. And the more people that watch boxing, it's a good thing. Now, people will counter me and say, "Oh, you're making a mockery of the sport." No, he's not. He's going to fight a legit former heavyweight champion. It's not a mockery of the sport. If he gets his head knocked off, he gets his head knocked off. I give Jake Paul credit. He's got balls of steel, stepping in there and doing it. Win, lose, or draw. I'm a fan of Jake Paul. I don't care what anybody says.
And I appreciate that. Right? Like, look, you can say it was a mockery when he fought the basketball player. You could say it was a mockery when he fought the UFC guys. You know, it was a mockery when he fought Nate Diaz. But it wasn't a mockery when he fought Tyson or the other Fury. Tommy. It wasn't a controversy then. You know, everyone was kind of sighing a sigh of relief. Oh, he lost finally. He lost to a boxer. He fought a couple other boxers. They weren't anything great. In fact, one had to come home from work and change and go to the stadium. You know what I mean? So it's just like, this is the first real fight, in my opinion, that Jake Paul has actually.
Well, he fought Chavez. You fought Chavez Jr.
Again, this is the first fight that Jake Paul, in my opinion, is fighting where he's actually going to possibly face some real legitimate consequences.
Yeah.
This could totally derail the Jake Paul train. Not the MVP train, but the Jake Paul train. Right?
No, it doesn't matter. I don't think of course Jake wants him, but if Jake gets knocked out, it won't affect MVP and him at all, because you know what we're going to say? He lost to a top 10 heavyweight he's supposed to lose. And if he wins by some sort of miracle, then we're going to say, "Oh my God, he's so good." Jake Paul wins no matter what, because he's taking on the challenge. People keep saying he's not fighting real people. Well, here he is. He's fighting a real dude. So if he gets knocked out, we expect him to get knocked out. He doesn't lose anything. MVP gains big time here. Hakan, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree a lot with you both on the whole show and why we are getting this fight. And if I can tell all people that a lot of countries that boxing isn't a big sport. Sweden is one of those countries. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank fight in Sweden, it wasn't anything from media in Sweden.
Same in Canada, same here, North America.
And also the Riyadh card this weekend, nothing in Sweden. But Jake Paul, Anthony Yarde, Swedish media reported it. So what I mean is that lesser countries where boxing isn't supported so much and media don't write so much about it, they are reporting about this fight.
Look,
so it's not that the boxing community; it's a outside the boxing community. Everyone, even in Sweden, not everyone, but a lot of people will talk about this fight.
It's like this.
Never talk boxing.
It's like this to me, okay? Very simply put, sometimes we need these kind of fights to happen in order to get the younger fans into boxing generally. The hopes is by having these kind of exhibitions or these sanctioned fights, if you want to call it that, is that just that? An opportunity for the casual eyes to come and join in and see some of these other fights that are happening there. We're going to get Alicia Baumgartner on this card as well. We're getting a few other up-and-coming prospects. So the goal is not necessarily Joshua and Paul. It's the opportunity to bring new eyes onto the product and bring new boxing fans into the realm of professional boxing. I accept that. I completely understand that. And that's what this is. Okay. We can sit here and complain, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen, guys and gals, and we're all going to tune in and watch. We're all going to watch. So why are we complaining?
And for the undercard, I believe that most of the fights that was postponed from the tank date,
they're going to be coming onto this card,
will be added to this card.
And this is the other thing that and again, I've always said that, and I don't agree with a lot of what those brothers do, but you gotta give the man respect to put a card together because he knew there were other people who were going to be affected by the tank fight not happening. Right?
Yes.
So in a way, Jake is showing something that people have to understand. He's showing that respect to his fellow stablemates to ensure that they can get a payday.
Yeah.
Right? So let's respect that as well. You didn't have to make this fight. This fight could have happened in 26.
One more thing I want to bring up when we wrap this up is a lot of the hate on both of the Paul brothers is jealousy. And it's a lot from the boxing podcasters in our realm and in the wrestling podcasters in our realm. Let me tell you why. As a guy who's involved in the boxing scene here and who's involved in wrestling, let me tell you something. A lot of people see these brothers in their early 20s. They're known for YouTube. They decided, Logan Paul decided, I'm going to be a professional wrestler. Guess what? He's better than 95% of that roster. That's how good he is. You got Jake Paul. No, he's not better than 95% of the boxers, of course not. But he became professional. Most 99% of people cannot come from our realm and do what the Paul brothers have done. Nobody ever says, oh my God, these guys are amazing athletes. How can they just come from YouTube and work so hard and outwork everybody in business? MVP. You go to MVP cards. You know how well Jake treats the fans. You know how well MVP treats the fans. Logan Paul, Prime. We can go on and on and on. Nobody gives these guys credit for how hard they work and how smart they are as business people. We knock them as YouTubers. His brother's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Jake is one of the biggest boxing stars in the world. And 99% of people cannot do that coming from YouTube, and they've done it, and that is damn amazing.
All right, so Chance,
yeah, I agree.
Right?
As you know, I was over both in Florida and Texas to MVP show, and had a great time and enjoyed the whole show. And, and I really liked the product.
MVP is like the Benavidez to us, to you. I get that completely, right? Chance, I wanted to share, sorry, Hawken, I just wanted to say something really quickly to what you were saying. Let's stop saying YouTube, please.
Well, that's what these other guys, you guys.
No. I get that. But what I'm saying is I want to stop using YouTube. Fuck, before YouTube, these guys were doing Vines. Okay, before YouTube, these guys were doing all the other platforms. Look, here's the one thing. Maybe this is an advantage Chance and I have because we are in North America. We have more access to these guys. We have more intel on these guys, correct? We see more about these guys in our area because of where we live. Okay, these guys have worked their asses off since they were children. Let's forget about what they've done in their teens and 20s. They were working their ass off as kids, selling T-shirts out of stadiums. So they've always been building. It's not something, their work ethic is something. You can't say that these two brothers came with silver and golden spoons in their mouth.
No.
They came from not poverty, but middle class, low to middle class family that really worked their asses off to get where they are. I don't agree with a lot of how they do it. I don't agree with a lot of their content. I'm not a fan. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older and it passed me. So it's not saying that I agree with it, but you can't take away what they accomplish. Because if I'm going to sit here and complain and bitch about that, then I'm going against everything I believe. Because the Paul brothers are doing exactly what we're trying to do. Build a brand, build a name, right? And I always feel that we have to be respectful to everyone in our realm, regardless of our opinion or not. Respect the work ethic, respect the hustle, respect the grind. That's all I'm going to say, because those are the things, Hawken, Chance, that people don't see behind the stage. They don't see us reaching out to you saying, hey, do you want to come on the show? They don't see Chance working the X. They don't see me working the DMs. They don't see us trying to reach out constantly, trying to get things done. They only see the final product that I put out. So let's not forget how hard these guys have worked. We don't have to agree with them, but you can't take away that they earned everything that they've got to this point. Okay?
Well said.
We don't know when Logan's training. Maybe he gets home and he's in the ring at 2:00 in the morning and training till 6. But people don't see that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. And the other difference is It's a huge difference between the North American media and the market and the way we think over here than in the UK. I always still get a crack out of it when they always say on UK boxing matches, we apologize for the language.
Yeah.
Right? Here in North America, they encourage it.
Yeah.
I love that. In the UK, as modern as it is, we apologize for the language. Like, what the fuck? Who cares?
We're swearing like here over it. Crazy.
Right? All right, guys.
Okay, last question here. I gotta ask you one question. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Not who do you think is gonna win? Who do you want to win that fight between Paul and Joshua?
I think that Anthony Yarde wins inside 2 rounds.
No, I know that you think he's gonna win. Who do you want to win?
Who I do.
Forget
I don't have a favorite in this fight that I want to win. I was a big AJ fan. I've been to 3 fights with AJ live in London.
Oh, nice.
But the last one was in 2018. The last one was at the Povetkin fight at Wembley, when AJ was still undefeated.
Yeah. You saw him in his prime.
Yes. So AJ was my biggest favorite in boxing, including fighters from Sweden.
Right.
Gotcha.
Until 2018, 2019. Then
Gotcha.
then after that, it has gone downhill. I think that for me, he has done some things that I not have been so supported of, that he has done outside boxing, and also that I felt that in his last few fights from 2019 to now, he hasn't been that good and entertaining that he was up to 2019.
No.
So that's the reason why I dropped my what I call that my biggest favorite in boxing.
Gotcha.
So for this fight, I don't have a favorite that I want to win. For me, it doesn't matter, if I'm honest.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I got a question for both of you. Let's just talk about this really quickly, then we'll wrap it up here. It just kind of came up to me. Is Joseph Parker kicking himself in the nuts right now?
What, for doing the cocaine?
That too, but the fact that he lost to Wardley and Wardley is now recognized as a world champion. Like being emailed, having the championship mailed to you.
You know what? Honestly,
yeah.
I wanted Parker to win the fight. I thought he was going to win, but if he was doing cocaine, possibly could have been using performance enhancers. We don't know for sure. He's going to retest. Then he didn't deserve to win that fight. If you're fighting at this level and you want to get in the championship picture and you're snorting cocaine a few days before the fight and goofing around, you don't deserve to win. So I'm glad Wardley won.
Okay, but do you think that the Wardley-Parker fight was the actual fight for that title then, and it's okay that Wardley just got awarded it like that without having to fight for it again?
You mean by the use of gun, he gave it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I guess that's the way to say it. They didn't know that was going to happen, but I guess in hindsight, that's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, in essence, Parker and Wardley fought for that belt, right?
We have to look here that this is the organization, the World Championship organizations. When a fight is ordered and the champion relinquishes and vacated the title, is the interim who will be upgraded to full champion. We have to accept that. That's the rules.
Yeah.
No, I get that completely.
If you don't like it, it's another thing, but we have to accept the rules.
Yeah, and that's fine. Which is what makes it easier for me is the fact that I look at their fight as the fight for that belt, because whoever won that fight got the what's the word I'm looking for here?
Got Usyk's belt that he gave up. Yeah,
the interim.
Okay.
They got the interim title. Whoever won that fight would have ended up with the interim anyways, right?
Mm.
So in a way, that was the title fight. So it is what it is. All right.
Yeah.
Then was also awarded the IBF in the same way.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well said, buddy.
Well done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Bobby Sampson. He is Mr. Chance Michaels, and he is Mr. Hawken Ringside Live, baby, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. Do you have any friends in Gothenburg?
Not so much, but I've been in Gothenburg a few times.
Sweden's got the coolest city names in the world, man. I swear to God, it's straight out of Batman. Gothenburg. Love it. All right, guys and gals, that's the show for today. We have talked about so much. We got a great card coming up this weekend. We've kind of dissected it. I wish we had some of the UK brothers in here to kind of spice it up a little bit, or as like Mr. Michaels likes to say, a little sizzle to the steak. But you know what? We'll get these guys on. We have a little time before this fight happens, so we'll do a North America versus UK debate. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to set this up.
That would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
you're going to join on. What side are you in for War Games? You team North America or team UK?
Yeah, I'm more team North America right now.
Okay, perfect.
Us
three will be on the top, and we'll have the UK brothers at the bottom.
Yeah, we'll get Jams, Neutral, Sir Chat a lot.
Right, we'll get them all on there, and then have a fun little debate. We'll set it up. We tried to do this on the fly. This is the beauty of live podcasts and trying to record things on the fly. It happens. But listen, guys, we got a great weekend of boxing coming up here. Unfortunately, it's daytime again for us out here in North America. But you know what? Don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy it. A lot of great fights here. Guys, stop listening to naysayers. Stop listening to people who are trying to deter you from being the best that you possibly can. Anyone who doesn't want you to succeed, anybody who doesn't want you to win, is because they're too afraid to do anything on their own, or they're too afraid to see anyone surpass them. Get those people out of your life. You don't need them, because the people you need are right here in front of you. We will support you. We will guide you, and we only want the best for you. Samp, Chance, Hawken Ringside Live are out. Done.